Welcome right back to Coach 'em Up Dre. It's your favorite host, Coach Dre Powell, here at the Coach 'em Up Dre, the hottest Southwest Florida sports podcast all around, bar none. And let me tell you something. One of my favorite subjects to talk about is high school football. And one of my favorite programs to talk about is Southwest Florida. Woo! The St. John Neumann football team. Let me talk to you about the St. John Neumann football team. I just had the opportunity to see them 2 days last week, do some 7-on-7 activities. And the first thing that I noticed, and again, this is just their skill position: quarterback, wide receiver, running backs, DBs, linebackers, okay? First thing I noticed is their size, okay? Big team. We all know they lost everything wide receiver to the Oklahoma Sooners, Jaden Petit. But when I looked out there at the X and the Y position and I see 6'3" Ronnie Raposo returning, and then I see the young man that I told you last football camp season that I had my eyes on, and I'm impressed by his length. When I see Mr. Tyrone Howard Jr., who is now all of 6'3" himself, lean. He reminds me of a young man that played a couple of years ago around here that now plays for the Minnesota Gophers. That is Mr. Bradley. Okay, that was a wide receiver. He has the same lean body type. And when I saw him out there routing people up, it wasn't even a contest. Late hands, smooth route runner, okay? Like butter, okay? Melted butter over some warm biscuits. That's how easy he was running his routes and routing up those DBs from those other schools that was out there competing in this 7-on-7. And then you look at the QB, Mr. Maximus McKiernan, if I'm not mispronouncing your last name. Met him and his father last year during the camp, moved up from Texas, standing all of 6'6". When you talk about somebody having a big arm that can make all the throws, and when you have two wide receivers, 6'3" plus on the outside, all you got to do is get it near them. Their catch radius is incredible. But when you see those athletes, and then I see in the slot, no other than Mr. Feet himself, Mr. Jackson Lee, running those routes in and out, going to get you those third down conversions. Ooh, let me tell you something, man. They are loaded on the outside. And you do know, because I talked to you about this, the rich get richer over in the land of Oz. Coach Ghost, he just is the masterful wizard of what I cheerfully like to say is the land of Oz over there at St. John Neumann. They got Mr. Nino Joseph, who I had the pleasure of speaking with at length after their workout last week. And he just told me, hey, I'm about that business, coach. I'm about all that action. And these boys better come along because I'm here for one thing, and that's to play some football. So when you got a guy that you know how much I love, and I told him, I said, Nino, you know how much I love your game, son. And I can't wait to see you this fall because I don't have any conflicts on Friday night now. So I'm getting to all the big games, all the big matchups this fall. Coach Powell will be there, and I will be taking it in. So when you figure they got the most dynamic returning running back in all of the county, arguably all of Southwest Florida, arguably top 5, and I'll be a little conservative, top 10 in the state of Florida, Mr. Nino Joseph, woo, loaded. And don't you forget the freshman, dynamic running back who now holds 6 offers himself, because I saw him Sunday and I talked to him, okay? And I said, where were you? I didn't see you last week. He said, hey, I was a coach. I was at the University of Georgia. I was with them Bulldogs up there. for their spring practice and camps up there. So he already, as a freshman, true freshman. And I said, tell me again what you ran. He said, yeah, I ran a 4.4 as a freshman. Freshman. Okay. So you got Nino and you got Mr. Luvins, Bazil in your backfield with that outside weaponry and a 6'6" quarterback and returning offensive lineman. You tell me, explain to me what I'm supposed to do with that, but talk very highly of them. This offensive unit right here, these skill position players that I'm talking about like this is how I felt about lately going into their season last year. They just couldn't beat that one team wearing the blue and the gold. But I knew how special they were going into the season. And they delivered for the most part, except for in the biggest game. But I'm going to tell you what, I told you before on video, you coaches messed up, man. You know you done messed up. If you didn't get him, you didn't knock him out of this game after year one, the Wizards only going to get bigger and stronger. Ghost is just, he's loaded, man. And I'm not even going to really get into the defense because, I'm hearing nothing but great things. And then I look, if they got the young man playing safety who they rave about, Zachary Charleston. Let me tell you something. On the back end back there, and they got linebackers galore. All they got to do is solidify that defensive front. But you know what? Even if they take a step back defensively, on the defensive front, I think their back end is going to be stronger, it's very experienced, but the offense is going to be so powerful that they're going to force teams to play left-handed. They're going to force teams to have to throw the ball up, man, because they're going to score so many points. You're going to have to keep up with. Good luck with these teams around here, man. All these other private schools taking the field against St. John Neumann. I'm telling you right now, public or private, right now, I'm calling my shot right now. April 13th, St. John Neumann is my preseason number 1 in Southwest Florida football, okay? Preseason number 1, right now, call my shot. It ain't even close, okay? And I'm going to be at the game when they play St. John Neumann. I'm going to be at the game when they play First Baptist Academy, because First Baptist Academy is going to have some fight in them this year. They reloaded, as I talked about, but I'm going to tell you what, man. Neumann, they looked apart. And when you see 20-plus kids out there, the camaraderie, how in sync they are, the chatter that they have, the love that they have for each other, man, that comes from the Wizard, man. That comes from Coach Ghost, man. You know what I mean? He's built the program. And he has some great coaches with him. This program is going to be a serious problem for all opponents in this area. And do I even need to say this? They're only going to get better throughout the season. So I look for them to have some serious, as long as they stay healthy, as everybody else, knock on wood, everybody got to stay healthy in this game. But I'm looking for some tremendous things, man. And when I talk to the Wizard, man, I see the eyes of a lunatic, okay? A man that don't sleep much, because this is what he's about, man. He's about that ball, man. And I seen that look too many times on great coaches, great men, great leaders, and I'm starting to see it on his players, man. I'm starting to see it on his players. So I'm an early believer, man. I'm an early believer in what St. John Newman's going to be, what they built, and more importantly, like Coach Ghost and I talked about, man. I said, look, man, this is where you win the games right here, the off season. This sort of activity. This is where you win the games. He looked at me and just said, he a man a few words sometimes, He's like, you're absolutely right, Coach. And my boys building something. And I said, I can't wait till the fall to see this team. Because like I said, I ain't got no conflict no more. My boy done graduated on. He moving on up. So Friday night, I get to go and see teams like SJN, and I get to see other great teams and all you talented young men up close and personal. So that's what I want to talk about real quick about St. John Neumann. There's some other teams out there that I saw, shout out to Immokalee. I'm a big fan of Immokalee and got a chance to chop it up with Coach Delgado. And they're young, but as always, they have some talent, okay? So Immokalee, I think the arrow's pointing up, okay? Let's just see, they lost a couple pieces. They lost my big fella, double nickel in the middle, Mr. Kool-Aid. He's going on to play college football. So let's see if they can replace some of that size and power because they got a young quarterback that look dynamic out there throwing the ball on the field. And, they got athletes on the outside defensively and on the offensive side of the ball. And then I got a chance to catch up with my man who's helping over there in the offensive line and some other things. Shout out to you, Coach Jake Fields, and he's excited about a couple of players, getting me the 411 about some of the players I was asking. I was like, yo, who's that kid there? Yo, who's that kid over there? Yo, what about my man here? Tell me something about him. And, he gave me a little juice on all the players, man, and all you boys out there at Immokalee. So shout out to you guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of you guys coming up. And hey, so ball's gonna be crazy. Got a chance to look, peep at Aubrey Rodgers. There's one good kid out there, just some size, man. Didn't play last year. Had a chance to been the head coach JJ asked about a couple of his players over there, man, that, look like some studs, man. So Aubrey Rodgers, man, they're gonna fight you. And Coach JJ, man, he's fighting, he's building something over there and had some good things to tell me about his players. So shout out to you Patriots over there at Aubrey Rodgers. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing more high school football. Looking forward, I got a couple calls out there, had a couple of conversations with some coaches along the way. And they are, as always, hungry to get this thing started for spring ball, which is coming up. I look forward to making my rounds around some of these spring football practices and talking to some of the players and the coaches and coming on camera and giving you an update on what I think or what I'm saying early, okay? And, hey, big news as well. Lady has a new football coach. I got to do a little bit more homework on the coach before I could give any opinions or insight about what he might be thinking of doing over there. I did talk to a couple of lady people over the weekend about him, to get their early assessments of that. And they're pretty excited that, A, first of all, they finally got a head coach, and B, that they got a young coach with a lot of experience. So salute to you, lady, for finally finding your coach and getting him in the building. So salute to you young men over there in Lely in South Naples. So that's my time. Again, I'm telling you right now, preseason top 5, preseason number 1, St. John Neumann high school football team. They're going to be a problem, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, if they stay healthy, like I said, everybody stay healthy, and if it's this team that I see right now playing 7-on-7, they run a rough shot, okay? It ain't going to be close. It's not going to be close. I don't care who they play around here. St. John Neumann, I would hope that they was even schedule some of the bigger public schools, man, okay? And before I get going, I got to shout out those Barron Collier Cougars, man. Coach Tidwell, don't let that nice smile, that all shucks attitude fool you, okay? Because that man is about that ball. And I'm hearing some good things about Barron over there, so I look forward to seeing them in the spring. And big changes all across the county. Players making the decision that's best for them. Coaches are buttoning down everything, getting ready to get up for the spring football season. I salute all you coaches, all you high school programs, and all you players that have been working hard since the new year started. Now, go out there and give your all and just ball, man. Just ball, man. You only got so many games. You only got so many quarters, okay? So go out there, take advantage of it, live your dream out, make plays, all right? So that's my time. As always, tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to tap in to the hottest sports podcast around. That's the Coach 'em Up Dre podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow me. Come on now. do that thing. Help your boy Coach grow my channel so I can get out here and give you more hot content. And I got so much more things to talk about. Like, man, I'm getting ready to drop some videos on girls flag football because there's some great players around here, great prospects. There's a couple of girls that I got to coach that I'm telling you right now, hey, they play other sports, but they gonna earn scholarships for flag football. That's where flag football is going for these girls around here. And there's some great talent around here. So I'm excited to talk about that and talk about more things going on around here. Some of the conversations I'm having with the coaches, things like that. So I want to bring that to you and we can chop it up. Leave your comments. As always, you can hit me up. Any suggestions, any topics you want me to talk about or get at you about, just let me know. All right, so I'ma holler. Again, tell somebody. You got to follow Coach 'em Up Dre. I'ma holler.